Just be yourself on camera is the worst advice anyone has ever given you about video. And the person who said it, they meant well. But that one sentence has probably cost you more clients, more credibility, and more momentum than any technical mistake that you've ever made. And let me tell you why that's a lie and what actually works instead. So, in a few minutes, I'm gonna give you 3 specific moves that replace that useless advice with something that you can actually use, starting with your next video. But first, let's talk about why this one little phrase does so much damage. Here's what I want you to think about for a second. You're not the same person in every room. You're just not. The version of you that shows up to a listing appointment, a client appointment, or the version of you that's at dinner with your closest friends. And that's not being inauthentic. That's called emotional intelligence. You're reading the room and you're responding to it. But here's the problem with cameras. The camera is not a room. It's a lens. There's no energy coming back at you. There's no nodding. There's no laughing. There's no leaning in. It's a lens. It's a cold, quiet, completely unresponsive lens. And when you sit down in front of it and somebody has told you just to be yourself, your brain is like, oh my gosh, I don't know which self to be. I'm hitting my watch on the desk. So your brain defaults. It defaults to the version of you that feels safe, the version that's measured or controlled, the version that ironically has almost none of the warmth or the humor or the conviction that makes you you. That's what nobody talks about. You're not struggling on camera because you're not being yourself. You're struggling because nobody taught you which of yourselves to bring and how to bring it without a live room to bounce off of. So let's name this thing clearly. The villain isn't you. The villain isn't even bad advice, although we're talking about bad advice here. The villain is a myth, and the myth, it goes something like this. Authenticity is natural. If you are a real person, it should just come out. And that sounds good. That sounds beautiful. But it's also not reality when you put a camera in front of somebody. Think about it this way. You've been having conversations your whole life, thousands of them, tens of thousands of them. You know how to talk to people. You're probably really good at it. But put a microphone in front of a great conversationalist and tell them to give a speech and watch what happens. Suddenly, they're stiff. Suddenly, the rhythm is gone. Suddenly, they sound like they're reading from a teleprompter that's moving too slow. It's the same person, different container. Well, here's the deal, my friend. Nothing is wrong with you. You just haven't learned the skill yet of which self to bring to the camera. So if you scroll back on this channel to some of my earliest videos, you will see several videos like this one right here, where I got this totally wrong. I keep them on my channel to sort of remind myself from whence I came. But as I watch some of those videos, my energy is totally wrong. I was being myself, but I had no idea what I was doing. And to be honest, nobody said to me, dude, your energy isn't right. But I see it clearly as I look back at some of those videos. So I was being myself. I was being relaxed. I wasn't performing. I was just talking. And it didn't work because being relaxed and being compelling are not the same thing. But nobody told me that. So let's zoom out for just a second, because if we don't address this, here's what happens. You keep making videos, you keep being told to be natural, you keep watching them back and feeling that low-grade cringe. And slowly, almost without you noticing it, you start making fewer and fewer videos. And that's what I did. And you start overcorrecting, and you write a script and you read it word for word. And now you look like a hostage reading a ransom note instead of a trusted advisor. That's what we want. So you start watching other people's videos. Maybe you're watching other agents or producers in your market, and you're watching people who seem effortlessly magnetic on camera. And you tell yourself that they have something that you don't. And that story becomes evidence. And then that evidence becomes a belief. And that belief becomes the reason that you don't show up consistently. And the cost is not the views that you didn't get. It's not the algorithm that you didn't crack. It's the client who found somebody else first, the referral partner who chose the agent with the better video presence, the deal that went to somebody else who seemed more trustworthy on screen, even though you would have served that client better in real life. I want you to understand this. Video is trust at scale. So when it works while you sleep. And when it doesn't, or when you stop making it work, that trust is being built by somebody else for somebody else's business. And that is the real cost for you not developing this skill. So are you ready? Let's fix this. 3 moves that I promised you. That's it. 3 moves, not a 30-step system, not a course. 3 moves that you can apply before you press record the next time. Ready? Let's go. Move number 1, start trying to be useful. When you walk into a client meeting, you're not thinking about how you come across. You're thinking about the client. You're thinking about their problem. You're thinking about what they need to hear and how to help them get there. That outward focus is what makes you magnetic in a room. And camera works the same way. The moment you stop monitoring yourself and start thinking about the one person watching this video and what they need, everything changes. Your energy shifts, your eyes come alive. You stop performing and you start connecting. So before every video, ask yourself one question. Who is the one person watching this and what do they need to hear today? Talk to that person, not the camera, that person. As a matter of fact, I have a few friends that have printed out a picture of that person and put it up just below the camera so that they can talk to that person while they're recording their videos. Move number 2, find your on-camera self. And it's probably not your relaxed self. Remember I said that your brain defaults to the safe, measured version of you on camera. But that version is about 30% less energetic than you need it to be. And so this is one of the hardest things for new video creators especially. The energy level that feels normal to you on camera almost always reads as flat to the viewer because the viewer doesn't have the benefit of being in the room with you. They're not getting room energy. They're watching a compressed 2-dimensional version of your presence. So dial it up. That's not being fake. That's not being performative. Just turned up. I want you to say something out loud. Anything. Move your hands. Just do something with yourself just to wake your voice up. And then I want you to sit down and start recording. You'll notice the difference almost immediately. Now, move 3. I want you to try this instead. Before you record, give yourself a role. For example, I'm a trusted advisor who's seen this problem and I'm about to save this person from making the same mistake. Or what about this one? I'm an experienced colleague who genuinely wants this person to win and I have exactly what they need. Claiming that role gives your nervous system something to organize around. It's not a mask, it's a frame. And inside that frame, all of the real you, the warmth, the expertise, the humor, it has room to show up. Once I started doing this, not only did I feel better, I also got better responses to my videos. It's like people began to vibe with me. I would get inboxes, I would get shares, I would get messages about something I said and how it resonated. Here's what I'd like for you to notice about this. Nothing about this requires a better camera. It doesn't require a better light. Nothing about this requires a more interesting life. It simply requires a shift in your approach, a shift in understanding what the camera actually is and what it actually needs from you. That's it. And that shift is available to you right now, today, before you press record the next time. So if this landed for you, if something in here clicked or challenged something that you've been believing about yourself on camera, I want you to know that this is just the beginning of the conversation. I've got more videos on this channel that go deeper on specific pieces of what we talked about today: camera confidence, how to find your on-camera presence, how to stop sounding like you're reading even when you kind of are. Check those videos out. Or if you're ready to get started and need a beginner toolkit, I've got one linked in the description. You don't have to figure this out by trial and error. There's a shorter path. And hey, if this video helped you out today, do me a favor, share it with one person in your network who's struggling with this exact thing right now, because I promise you know someone who needed to hear this today. Come on, help them out. You know you want to.